United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Item number 3 on the agenda is public comment. If there is any public comment, there's anything that anyone in the public wants to talk about at this time, pro or con, anything you want to address, this is your opportunity. Form a line. We have taken care of that part of the agenda. No public comment. Number 4 is approval of the June 11, 2015 Policy Board meeting minutes. Has anyone read this?
I have, I move for approval.
I'll accept your motion. Do I have a second?
Yes, you
I'll take Floyd's. We do have a motion to accept. We do have a second. Any comments, public, board? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries with the majority, with a unanimous vote. Number 5, review and approval of revisions to long-range transportation plan, voids 2040, and any action in connection thereto. Mr. Doré, you are on, sir.
All right, thank you. At our last meeting, we presented the draft of the long-range transportation plan. The plan was originally approved by the board back in November. We submitted that to the state as well as to the feds, and they had some comments, just a couple of comments, and there's a memo on page 7 of 108 that just kind of outlines what their concerns were. That really being addressing environmental mitigation and also developing the plan in cooperation with other state and federal agencies such as environmental and any special agencies. And so we did that. If there are really any questions, we kind of talked about it. What you see in the packet are some of the pages that we amended in the document. The other part that we changed, looking at page 16 of 108 and 17 of 108, was they wanted a better breakdown of our transportation projects and our transportation funds, and so those have been corrected. I think that's really the major changes with this document.
So Doré and I were discussing before the meeting, and Kristen, you and I were talking about this the other day too. I don't think we've got any direct feedback from FHWA on these more nebulous EJ issues.
Correct.
So Doré, you're thinking they won't issue, is this the cart before the horse? If we approve now, then they come back with further objections?
I think this is it. Once when we approve this today, I think we should be fine. We submitted our draft revisions to them, and I haven't heard anything. And it doesn't seem like y'all have heard anything. So I think once when we approve this, we should be fine. Because they haven't approved the document, it actually has not been approved at the federal level. So no funds right now can be awarded for transportation projects. So that's both public transportation and highway. And so
Well, there was some communication, you pointed out that memo, that page 7 of 108, between, well, kind of around Robin, between the MPO, Kingside and FHWA. And what was the, Kristen, where did we leave off with that in terms of, what's his name, FHWA's comments? Kirk's.
The last email I saw was where he was asking about the contacting agencies, and then Doré addressed that.
Okay, and so we do have a response back to him from that, and then kind of went silent, right?
Yeah, it went silent.
Okay.
And the major issue with that was whenever you develop a long-range plan, you need to contact these agencies. What we did was we reached out to them by email and by phone, and we did not receive any responses. And so we just documented that in the plan. That should, I'm assuming that should be sufficient.
I wish we had more, and I think you fulfilled what you were tasked to do here. I wish we had some more positive feedback from them.
So we could approve it at this point, just knowing that there may be a.
There may be another
opportunity
round
for
of
them to
this,
make another comment, we'll have to revisit.
Let's hope they don't, but, yeah, that's a possibility.
We can amend it.
Yes.
Later, yeah, sure.
It's not set in stone. John, you seem to be familiar with it. Give me a motion one
Move to
way or the
approve.
other. Move to approve. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Let Floyd second. Any comments from public on this? Comments from the board? Motion is made that we accept it as presented. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Put a unanimous vote on that. Item number 6 is review and adoption of the 2016 Unified Planning Work Program and any action in connection thereto.
All right, at the last meeting, we presented the draft UPWP, which is the MPO's planning budget for FY16. I went through each of the tasks at the last meeting. There were some changes in the document. Let me get to that page. Beginning on page 82 of 108. We, after our initial meeting last month, we submitted this to our NPO coordinator, Joe Clark, and so these were some of the comments that he had with the document, and I'll just go over the comments, and then there are also some changes to the funding for some of the tasks. But really just a little better explanation on page 82, you can see that we've added just a couple of lines for the objective of task 1. On page 83, collaborative planning, that was removed and put in another task, and that subtask is essentially just whenever the NPO works with outside organizations or stakeholders, we would charge our time to that task. So that's been moved to another task. We've added document development and reporting. Just any reports that the NPO does, we'll charge our time to that task. And then the subtask 1.6, Title 6 and Environmental Justice, we needed to make that make it a separate subtask. So, I mean, there is the explanation for that one, and that really just has to do with outreach. And so on 84 of 108, the initial budget for task 1 was $149,700, and after discussing it with Joe, his recommendation was to really move some of the funds to some of the other tasks. Remember, the UPWP can always be amended at any time throughout the year. If we see one of the tasks growing too large or funds being expended, we can always add more funds to it. So the recommendation is to take it from $149,700 to $98,100. Any questions on task 1?
That doesn't change your primary principal administrative needs, or it just moves from one category to another?
Yes, sir. Task 2, page 85, just wanted a little more clarification on subtask 2.1 with the data collection and analysis. So we've added some of that. One of the things that he wanted to see in there was that we would be collecting data related to the Title VI and environmental justice. So we've added that verbiage in there that should satisfy that one. Task 2 was originally $24,300, and so we have increased that to $44,200. Task 3, our short-range planning. I believe the only change here was adding verbiage about developing the new transportation improvement program, which we'll start working on later this fall, early spring, and of course that'll be approved by the board. And then, like I told you, the collaborative planning from task 1 or task 1 has now moved to task 3. And then we've changed the terminology from transportation system analysis to transportation system technology. So that's really just any research projects that we're doing or any technology that we're looking at for that subtask. And so the original amount there was 25,350, and the revised amount is 37,800. And our final task, task 4, the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. We did not have any changes there. It was just recommended that we allocate more funds to that task. And the original amount for that one was 25,650. The revised amount is 44,900. And then, of course, task 5 was always budgeted at 5,000, and so that amount did not change. So on page 82, we've got the totals for each task. Again, we just wanted to distribute that money a little more proportionately over all the tasks. We didn't change the budget of $230,000 for FY16, so that remains the same. If there are any questions?
Board, questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second. Do have a motion, I do have a second. Discussion, public discussion. All in favor, please say aye. Negative nay. Put a unanimous on that one. Number 7 is representative reports. First is the city of San Angelo. Are you taking that one, boss?
I believe so. Just a quick update on Streetscapes on one project on North Chadburg. Pretty much all the work is completed all the way up to 14th Street. We have the contractor that's on another project at this point outside the city, but we'll be back on Monday and continue that project all the way up toward just south of 18th Street. Everything is going well with some slowdowns on the Red Arroyo Trail. Of course, we received quite a bit of rain at this point, so we still are targeting for a completion date around late September. That's my report.
Tracy? Texas Department of Transportation is next.
Well, we actually had our new area engineer who replaced Donald Peterson. I was gonna introduce him and then have him give a report. I'm afraid he's lost. So the topics we're gonna talk about, one, we're gonna kind of give an update on mowing. I know every one of us have been concerned and
I heard about that yesterday
had,
and
yeah,
today.
I've been
And the day
sending
before?
emails in and out, yeah.
it's a big topic.
It's a problem.
Of all the potholes we've got, people quit complaining about those because of the mowing. So just a quick update, we think that the urban mowers are gonna be on the 16th, is that week? So next week. Our Tom Green County rural mowers are actually here mowing currently. So part of the reason for the delay on that, I mean, we obviously saw and wanted to mow sooner, but the decision was made several years ago for TxDOT to contract mowing out instead of do it in-house. And so because the way the contract is set up and some other challenges with bringing the contract mowers in sooner, it's kind of set up as it was scheduled. Worked great for the last 3 years when it didn't rain. It's a little bit different now. So, we're aware, we're disturbed that it got as tall as it has also. But hopefully we will start mowing next week, weather permitting. And possibility we'll have trash concerns every time we mow, then the trash concerns show up. So we'll have our contract trash people out there to pick up immediately after that.
Would it
Can
be
we do
possible?
it before or afterwards? I mean, I
But
think.
we're doing it currently, and I think and we've kind of changed the way we're doing that compared to the last time we mowed. And Tom, you can probably give us a little
Right.
detail on the change that we've
They're
made.
notified, they're listing it right now, but after the start date. So we'll do as much as we can, and then they'll start mowing. They're gonna mow, it'll take 5 days to mow the whole city. So we don't have that many litter collection people to stay ahead of that rate of mowing. So, we'll pick up the big ones and then come back behind it. But we've got a different contractor now, so should go much faster and better.
We really think we're in better shape trash-wise prior to this mowing than we were the last one. It looked like confetti last time.
It really did, it was pretty bad.
And so we've changed our method of picking trash up, and we think we're in better shape, but you can't, it's instantaneous. At some point in time, we gotta mow, and people people are throwing stuff out constantly, so we think it'll be better this time.
Would it be possible maybe for Anthony to get something on our 17 about that? Might answer a few of these questions that citizens have.
The only concern is that these 2 or 3 days of rain we just had may push it. Because they can't, we don't want them mowing in the mud. Because that really messes things up. So that may slide it a day or two. It's not gonna slide it for a week, but
So again, just
17.
weather permitting, basically.
Weather permitting, that's a good way to put it.
Tracy, can any of our, we have multiple community services within the county, is there any of those resources could be directed to help trash people caught up and catch up?
Possibly, we could coordinate that. We do have the Adopt a Highway program that has been used mostly outside the city limits more, but we have opened that up for local community groups to do it inside the city limits. We've not had a lot of interest in it. We may want to get with Karen, our public information officer, and then Anthony, and try to push that a little harder, because I would like to take advantage of that.
Well, just as a focus right now because of the situation, what you're in, if the trash people are gonna be behind on that mowing, we know what mess is for a week or so. If I could get CSCD and some of those people to maybe direct that to help y'all get that cleaned up out of the way. I didn't
We'll definitely be open to that. We want to get the warning signs out, and there are places we don't want the public to be, like in the median of the Houston part and Loop 306, just because of safety concerns. But yeah, we would absolutely coordinate with public efforts to pick up that.
Well, it's like these people are there under no option. The other option is our assisted living center, so we could. Okay,
And timing would be perfect for that. Right now, timing would be perfect.
well, that's the reason I thought about that.
I think coordinating it prior to the mowing, I think there's not time to do that. And also, I'm not sure we want them out there in the stuff that's as tall as it is. So we can really see after we mow. I just don't think it's gonna be confetti like it was last time. I think we'll be in a lot better shape. In our standard procedure, I think we'll come back in behind it and get it cleaned up pretty quick.
If you need that help, let me know.
Okay, I appreciate that. The other thing I was gonna get an update on is our Knickerbocker Road project. That starts, I believe, is it 306?
306 to the airport.
Okay, so it's on Knickerbocker Road, it goes from 306 all the way out to the airport, and that will be a new paving project. So we'll be milling that existing surface off and then putting a new hot mix surface on. We were scheduled to start that right about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, and because of the boat races and then the 4th of July, we talked the contractor into delaying. So they've got barricades set right now and should start seeing work. If not,
Sunday night, they're gonna mill at night.
yeah, the milling, we're gonna do it at night, hopefully to avoid some of the heavier traffic. So that project should be done by September-ish. So it'll be a challenge, traffic control wise, until it's done. So was Casey gonna brief on anything else?
I think that's it.
No, that's what we had asked him to have ready. So I'm like, you just got lost on the way this morning or something, so.
So open to any other questions, but that's the end of our update.
Questions? Questions? Thank you, sir. Concho Valley Transit District. Since John Austin's not here, Major, you know about it?
He's missing. I don't know exactly what he would want to bring you up to date on, but we do have some things going on. We finally got to order our 5339 funded vehicles through the state Smart Buy program. There's quite a bit of confusion between us and TxDOT and the Smart Buy program, but we finally got those on order. We just received notice that we're going to get more 5339 funding for more vehicles this year again, this next fiscal year. So we'll be purchasing more, especially urban vehicles, with a few rural, but mostly urban. Then they got in all the bids on their general manager, so we'll be soon, I think September 1st, adding a general manager to the transit district.
The board approved that yesterday?
The board approved him to proceed yesterday with contract negotiations. So we should have one in place September 1st. We also received our notice yesterday that we are getting our regional planning funds, or not regional planning, elderly and disabled funds. and we submitted our regional planning application. So that will all be coming around soon. But in general, things are progressing and going forward.
That's the right direction. Mr. Neighbors?
Two quick things. Our program is nearly complete for our West Texas Legislative Summit, August 4th and 5th. Wednesday, August 5th, we'll focus on transportation, so would love to have you all be a part of that. Registration is open online. Thank you, Tracy, for being a part of one of those panels, and we look forward to hearing a lot more about what's going on in the region as well as locally. And then just a comment about the reauthorization of the Federal Transportation Act. I keep reading little snippets that there may be a compromise forming out there, maybe bipartisan, and maybe different ways to really fund for at least 4, maybe 6 years. And so let's continue to tell our representatives that that's important to the local, state and local funding as well. Just kind of keep encouraging them to reach some kind of a deal to make that happen. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Esteban?
Well, a little bit about funding, I guess. We did not have much results this year out of the legislature getting any additional funding sources. We're now, over the last 5 years, we've now up to about $1.5 million in general fund money that we're putting into our road and bridge. So we're trying to get caught up with that, and we look forward to a solution at some point in time, long term, how we fund it other than just local general revenue taxes. We received one of the transportation grants. We have been delayed. We finally got design contracted and set to go, and then we ran across some unknown Verizon lines wandering down through our right of way, basically in the main portion of Great Creek Road out at Great Creek, which is probably our main boulevard. But as soon as we get that issue resolved, hopefully we will have it. It's a major rebuild of that road base and all, so we're looking forward to that. And of course, the last thing, we want to thank the Lord we have the need and had some funding because we do our mowing in-house. And so we had to authorize some overtime to get caught up. So just so far behind, but it's one of the, I would much rather pay them overtime to mow right-of-ways than pay them overtime and have to fight fires.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty happy to have to do that.
Any further comments?
Mayor, can I ask
Yes.
one more thing? And I know this board is interested because you've talked about it in the past, and I know that you, for instance, get several calls. The bus stops in the city. Thanks to the MPO, they were able to find me a map of what once was as far as bus stops goes. So thanks to their help, we were able to go out and we were actually able to get an inventory of everything that's out there. So we're going to be meeting later on this month with the city, and by then we'll have an approximate valuation of what's out there, and we can enter into an agreement with the city to officially finally turn this stuff over that's in limbo and get it into our property, so that then we can go out and start replacing what needs to be replaced and take down what needs to be taken down. So there is progress on the horizon for this. We've had a lot of interest from a lot of organizations that want to go out and start fixing these shelters and these bus stops up. All we have to do is let them put something on there that acknowledges that this bus stop is being cared for and taken care and cleaned up by whatever the organization is, which I think is great anytime you can get volunteer labor force. So anyway, hopefully by the end of August, we'll have all this finally completely turned over and things on their way to get all this stuff taken care of, and then the citizens can actually see some progress.
Good news. Any further comments from the board? Any comments from the public? then I suppose we have taken care of that item. Number 8, organizational reports, directors, monthly staff activities report, Mr. Duray.
Okay, in your packets. I've got them switched here, but, the director staff activities report is included in your packet. These are a listing of activities that the MPO did during the month of June. We've broken those down now into tabs just to get a better, understanding of what's being done. Real quick, at the last meeting, Wendy had talked to y'all about the campaign that we did, and I'll let her give y'all a quick wrap up of how that went.
Well, I thought it was really successful. I had gone out to the different businesses in town trying to, get some prizes. And in the beginning, we didn't have anything. So I was like, okay, we're gonna have at least $100. We ended up at $320 of a prize basket. And we chose our winner on Monday, and she was tickled pink. She was so excited about it. I wish we would have had more community involvement, but we did have 51 folks take the challenge, which 50 was my goal. So 51 was fantastic. So we're looking at probably doing this every 4th of July. And then now I'll have a bigger window, because this is kind of, I always tell DeRay, this is kind of like our test year. This is the first year I'm here, so I can kind of gauge now when I need to start promoting. So I think it'll be really beneficial for the years to come. But the lady that won, it was Gail Randall, and she's a big advocate about not drinking and driving, and she's into some other groups too. So she started to spread the word about, what we're doing. So our numbers, even on like Twitter, have gone up. At least 20 since Monday. So I mean, it's we're getting out there, not as quickly as I was hoping that we'd get out there, but it's going good. And thank you all for your support, and I really appreciated it. It helped a lot.
So it's a great campaign. Also included in there is the financial report for April. The total amount of funds expended for April is $23,608. So our current year-to-date total is $122,458. Again, our budget for 15 is $225, and so we are now at $102,541 remaining for the year. So we're about over 50%, which is good for April. We still have until the end of September for our fiscal year, so we think we're in a very good spot right now. Then we've just got the attendance report, and Daniel, I do have to fix yours because you did tell me that you weren't gonna be at the last meeting, so I do apologize. I'll make that correction on yours, but that's really all I have. Are there any questions on any of those?
Everybody satisfied? Well, let's go on to item number 9 then, which is announcement and/or future agenda items.
The August meeting, unless there's something pressing, we do not have to meet in August. I know we had the TAC, we had talked about a thoroughfare amendment. The city is proposing, or the county is proposing. I don't know if that's urgent. If it is, we can certainly meet in August, but it would be that one item on the agenda. If not, we can meet in September. So if everybody's
More than likely, I'm gonna be gone
in August.
at some point in time. My vacation seems to be focusing in on that.
So the MPO's portion of Prop 1 for this next year, when do we make that decision on a project?
Well, like we were discussing last couple of days, I do not believe we have a tentative number, but we haven't been issued a formal number, an allocation or a program. So I really don't know what the timeline is on that.
Probably whenever they do tell us, then there's gonna be a really short fuse.
Yeah.
So I want us to start having that conversation, and we asked the technical committee to kind of come up with a list of potential projects and kind of give their priorities so that we could look at them. So what's the status of
We
that?
met, we had our first meeting a couple of weeks ago, just kind of an introduction. We did talk about the different projects that we have. We have our next meeting on the 23rd, and so we'll continue those conversations, but we did talk about different projects that we have and coming up with some type of priority listing for those.
They're scheduled to actually have a report back to board.
At the next meeting, we should be able to have someone,
By September would be doable.
possibly, you two guys were
I
there.
don't think so. I think we could look at this, you know, we've got, I forget how many projects on the current unfunded list. I don't know that we need to tackle that whole thing right now, but if we look at and prioritize a certain expectation for Prop 1 for the MPO for next year, at least identify our top candidate for that. We can do that
Pretty quickly.
quickly.
Yeah, it'd probably be helpful instead of, and don't come with just one, but come with maybe the top 2 or 3 so that the board can give input to it. And what's our guess on the dollar amount on?
For the entire district, including, I believe, the Prop 1 allocation that we go to the MPO was greatly reduced from last year. Kristen, wasn't it like 19 million?
It was there under, it was 18 for the whole district.
Yeah,
A
and
portion
did that
of
not
it
include the
was
MPO
specific.
component also? I can't remember. At any rate, if the MPO component, well, if that 18 or 19 million, even if it doesn't include the MPO component, the MPO component last year was 1.7, and it will go down also. So,
Maybe around 1 or,
yeah,
so it's a good enough chunk of
Yeah.
money that we're interested in making sure that it goes to that direction.
We'll continue those discussions though at the next meeting.
Okay.
So,
We're gonna do away with the August meeting.
We can do away with it, that's okay. I don't see an issue, so the next meeting is scheduled for September 10th.
We're down to the adjournment now. Is anyone opposed to adjourning at this time? Then this meeting is over and it looks like it's 9:02.